Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale.
Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is over. Thank God it's over. What a joke of a fight.
From the minute he got into that ring, to get on the back foot and just start running around, it was quite pathetic, honest with you.
There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua.
Jake Paul was just brutally torn apart by boxing experts after his ridiculous yet humiliating loss to Anthony Joshua. Yes, the pretty boy experiment ended with cracked jaws, battered ribs, and the kind of damage that happens when unchecked confidence collides with heavyweight reality.
He's an idiot. There is no reason.
If Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't last long. This will last as long as Josh wants it to last.
And let's not act like this outcome was surprising, because anyone with a functioning brain and even a basic understanding of boxing already knew how this story was going to end. It's been a wild few years watching Jake Paul drift through boxing like a tourist collecting souvenirs. You can't lose to someone perceived as a user, whether that's retired mixed martial artists, former champions well past their expiration date, or even athletes whose closest relationship with punching involved a basketball. That was always the pattern. Loud build-up, viral clips, selective matchmaking, and endless talk about changing the sport.
You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today...
Then 2025 arrived, and suddenly Jake Paul was standing across the ring from Anthony Joshua, a former unified heavyweight champion with Olympic gold and real scars earned in real wars.
Jake Paul is concerned because that's not boxing. He was just trying to survive. And when you try to survive in a fight, then the other guy can't knock you out because you're not looking to win.
Joshua entered with more than 25 professional victories, multiple heavyweight title reigns, and a resume that begins with gold at the London 2012 Olympics. Jake Paul came in with 13 professional fights, none against active or former heavyweight champions, and none that demanded elite-level defensive discipline.
Dude's got balls. Dude's got balls to stand in there with AJ, who had been off, so his chin is refreshed. He's ready to fight.
The contrast was impossible to miss. From the opening bell, Joshua controlled distance, like someone who had been doing this for over a decade. He set traps, dictated the pace, and allowed Paul to burn energy chasing moments that never arrived. The size difference told part of the story, but the experience gap told the rest. Paul talked all week about knockouts and statements. Joshua simply showed up to work.
You get paid $90 million to just survive? He just survived. Like he just ran around the ring.
The early rounds were quiet in the way dangerous situations usually are. Joshua was patient, measured, and calm. He wasn't rushing, he wasn't loading up. He was letting the ring slowly shrink around Paul. Jake tried to sell confidence, but the footwork revealed the truth. Constantly backing up, resetting late, reacting instead of initiating. This is where reality shows up in heavyweight boxing. And when the knockout came, it felt inevitable to anyone who had been honest about the matchup.
Anthony Joshua is trying to find him. As the fight goes longer, all those big actions, the shots, the big overhand rights, all those things were starting to fatigue Paul.
Interview 7, one of the first voices people turned to was Teddy Atlas, and his message was brutally consistent with everything he had said before the fight. Heavyweight fundamentals do not forgive. At lighter weights, mistakes can sometimes be survived.
You know, you're gonna get knocked out anyway, dude. Like, I was hoping I could say, you know what, because he earned the respect of boxing fans by going out on his shield. Guy just ran for his life. I just watched Jake Paul run for his life for like 5-6 rounds.
I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break up.
At heavyweight, mistakes get punished instantly. Atlas explained that when a fighter lacks elite defensive habits, the division itself becomes the opponent. You are not just fighting a man, you are fighting physics, mass, leverage, timing, and consequences. Jake Paul had never lived in that world before this night.
I mean, this guy literally never tried to win a second of the fight. He was trying to throw a home run punch every once in a while. But notice every time he got in the clinch, he just went down. Like he just hugged Anthony Joshua and then like would go down and the referee would call it a slip and give him a break. And like he would just kill time that way.
Then came Carl Froch, who didn't bother with diplomacy. Froch reminded everyone that Paul had already lost to Tommy Fury, a cruiserweight who'd never reached the British title. Level at loss alone told experts exactly where the ceiling was. If Paul struggled there, jumping straight to a heavyweight champion wasn't ambition, it was denial. Froch stressed that boxing progression exists for a reason. You don't skip levels in a sport designed to punish shortcuts. He knocked him down twice. I thought the fight was going to be over because he was going to knock him down again. The physical numbers only made the discussion harsher. Analysts pointed out that Joshua carried over a 100-pound weight advantage on fight night, with a reach difference exceeding 6 inches. That isn't trivia, that's control. Control of range, control of exchanges, control of when violence happens.
The way you beat a guy like that, you're not going to outbox him. If you're waiting on him and he's initiating and he's feinting you into counters and then he's countering the counter.
Even while I think a heavyweight has a chance in any fight, a puncher's chance, I don't think Jake Paul has anything for Anthony Joshua.
Do you respect him for taking it?
Yeah, you have to because that's terrifying. Like,
experts were quick to shut down the popular excuse of a puncher's chance. At heavyweight, that argument only works when both fighters understand defense at a high level. When one does not, the puncher's chance turns into a puncher's risk.
He knocked him down twice. I thought the fight was going to be over because he was going to knock him down again.
Betting markets reflected this long before the opening bell. Joshua entered as a massive favorite, with odds suggesting well over an 85% chance of victory. This wasn't disrespect. This was math. The market saw what the hype tried to hide. Experience, size, skill, and history matter. Loud confidence does not change probabilities.
Honestly, what do you want the guy to do? I mean, this guy reigned for his life in a 22 by 24 ring. That ring was huge. That ring was huge.
After the knockout, attention shifted to the punch itself. Comparisons immediately flooded into Joshua's 2024 knockout of Francis Ngannou, which ended in under 3 rounds. Ngannou had never been knocked out before that fight. Not once. Joshua did it cleanly and efficiently. Experts noted that Joshua's right hand travels close to 40 miles per hour. Elite speed for a heavyweight carrying that much mass. When that punch lands, careers pause.
It looked like that was the moment he was going to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm done, I'm injured, I'm hurt, I don't want to do that. But hats off to him, he got up and he kept fighting. We get to the 6th round and you can just tell that it's over.
What made Paul's situation worse was the technical breakdown. He failed to adjust after early feints. He walked into counters instead of forcing chaotic exchanges. He reacted late and exited straight back. Commentators agreed that if the same right hand that folded Ngannou landed on Paul, there was no version of this fight that ended differently. That wasn't trash talk. That was anatomy. Then came Johnny Nelson, who cut through the noise with a line that stuck because it was so accurate. He said, Anthony Joshua does not play touch boxing at any level. That wasn't trash talk. That was a technical observation. Joshua is not a fighter who toys with opponents. When he commits fully. Nelson emphasized that Joshua's style has always been about control followed by damage, regardless of opponent profile. Exhibition mentality does not exist in Joshua's ring habits. If you step in with him wearing 10-ounce gloves, you are signing up for consequences.
In my life, I think my jaw is broken, by the way, so... Yeah. Let's go! It's definitely broke. But,
The business side didn't soften the criticism either. Simon Jordan was especially ruthless in his framing. Jordan called the challenge absurd regardless of the financial upside, making it clear that money does not justify ignoring competitive reality. He acknowledged the commercial success but separated it from sporting logic. His argument centered on legitimacy.
Joshua just ate that. And I think when Anthony saw he could take those punches and they could really do no damage to him, it even boosted his confidence more. Because then he got even more reckless in his approach to getting after Paul.
Seeing a 2-time heavyweight champion with Olympic pedigree is not a marketing prop. Treating him like one is how people get hurt. Jordan's stance carried weight because it came from someone who understands both sports media and ownership. He wasn't offended by the spectacle. He was offended by the mismatch. Interview 16. What made the reaction harsher was that even figures who had previously supported crossover boxing began to pull back. Several fighters and commentators who once defended influencer bouts as gateways into the sport admitted that this fight exposed a hard ceiling. Not a temporary limitation, but a structural one. The acknowledgement was quiet, yet widespread. You can sell curiosity, you can sell novelty. You cannot skip the infrastructure of boxing and expect heavyweight outcomes to bend for you.
You knew that Anthony Joshua was going to eventually land something that hurt Jake Paul. And you know how you know the boxing world wanted it to be brutal? Because Rosendo was sitting here and he goes, I hope he gets knocked out bad.
The numbers backed up everything the critics were saying. Anthony Joshua entered professional boxing after a deep amateur career that included over 150 amateur bouts. That number matters because the amateur system is where timing, defense, and survival instincts are built. Jake Paul entered professional boxing with 0 amateur background, not a short amateur run, none. That gap doesn't close with confidence or training camps, it closes with years. Joshua had them. Paul did not.
Joshua, who's now 5 inches bigger than you, maybe more, or 4 or 5 inches, and about 100 pounds heavier. You just don't go from there right up to there.
Joshua's professional resume includes multiple world title defenses across different Rainsy has gone 12 rounds at elite pace against world-class opposition. Paul, by contrast, had never fought beyond 8 rounds at elite pace before this bout. That difference is not academic. 8 rounds and 12 rounds are different sports, especially at heavyweight. The physical and mental toll escalates dramatically after the 8th. Fighters who haven't lived there tend to show it quickly.
Punching heavyweight, and Fake Paul's never been in with a heavyweight. Like I said earlier, he lost to Tommy Fury, a cruiserweight. He lost to him. Tommy Fury's not even British level, so you can't chuck Fake Paul in with Anthony Joshua and take it serious.
Financially, the fight confirmed what many insiders already suspected. Estimated purses ranged between $40 and $50 million for each fighter. Those figures, widely reported after the event, reinforced that this was a commercial juggernaut, a spectacle designed to generate attention and revenue. Nobody disputes that. What the numbers also revealed is that commercial success does not equal competitive balance. Big money did not make the matchup closer, it just made the consequences